Welcome to Shanmugam IAS Academy and the editorial analysis of 17th December 2021. Many of you might be reading this editorial, this news in the newspapers, and these days the today's topic here is the enforcing age of the marriage. Enforcing age of marriage. What happens? Why this is in the news? Because this cabinet clears push to raise marriage age of women from 18 to 21. The cabinet clears, they are raising the marriage age of the women from 18 to 21. So that is why this is in the news from so many days, and in the form of editorial too, in different types of newspapers. So this is important in terms of prelims and mains too. So why it is in the news? The cabinet has cleared a proposal to raise the minimum marriage age for women from 18 to 21. This is the point. For this reason only we are reading this news in the newspapers, and it became important for our preparation too. And simultaneously, what happened? Several global organizations such as UNICEF have specified that children under the age of 18 as minors. We all know that under the age of 18 children are said to be minors, and marriages below the specified age as child marriage. This is what the definition which is given by the UNICEF under this global organization, and this is what the definition is about. And next, the child marriage is a human right violation, definitely, but early marriages should also be considered a public health issue as they have an impact on the physical and mental health of a woman. And we are seeing these days so much of like early child marriages and depressed stages, and their change in the physicality and their mental health these days are changing. And we'll talk about the child marriages in India now. So it is important to break this cycle of early marriages in families, as even in urban areas women are married off as soon as they turn 18, and their dream to pursue their further education and build their career is often crushed. So this is what happening, because if they attain the age of 18, so they are even they are told to be get married. So we have to break this cycle, and this will breaking the dream to pursue the further education and build their career is also being crushed here. So this is one of the issue, and according these reports are important for the prelims and also for the mains rating too here. According to the Global Childhood Report, which is released by the UK based NGO that is Save the Children in India, even today child marriages are prevalence is higher in rural areas. Obviously educational level is becoming like there as compared to the urban areas are less, and the child marriages are prevalence in the higher in the rural areas as compared to the urban areas. And as these figures in the percentage forms, it is 14 and 6.9 for the rural and the urban areas respectively, for the age group of 15 to 19. Under this age group, between this age group, and it was very much higher in the rural areas in India, and it is up to 6.9 in the urban areas. And although this is a good term, that India's maternal mortality ratio has improved to 113 in 2016 from 130 in 2014 and 16, which is a good move, good one, and good improvement. It is still far below the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Under the United Nations SDGs, the target is 70 deaths per 1 lakh live births. This is the target of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and according to this, still we are far below. But here it's a good sign that we have increased here, we have improved here. That is a good sign. And we will know we'll be knowing what is the minimum age of marriage in India. The personal laws that govern marriage and other personal practices for communities prescribe certain criteria for the marriage, including the age of the bride and the groom. So but that is will be prescribing the certain criteria for the marriage for the both of them, that is bride and the groom. For example, section 5 class 3 of the Hindu Marriage Act, this is important, the section 5 class 3 of the Hindu Marriage Act 1955 sets a minimum age of 18 for the bride and 21 for the groom. This we know that, and this is same for the Christians too in the country under the Indian Christian Marriage Act of 1872. So Indian Christian Marriage Act of 1872 and Hindu Marriage Act of 1955 In that section 5 clause 3 says the minimum age is 18 years for bride and 21 for groom. Same in the both Christian and Hindu. But for Muslim, the criteria is attaining the puberty. This is what the criteria in the Islam, in the Muslims, which is assumed when the bride or groom turns 15. So this is what under the Sharia law, this was what is there by attaining the puberty. And current marriage laws in various religions. So what are the current marriage laws here in various religions that we will study now? For the Hindus, the Hindu Marriage Act 1955 sets 18 years that I have already told you. That is minimum age for marriage for the bride, and 21 years as the minimum age for groom that I have told you already. And the child marriages are not illegal even though they can be declared void and request of the minor in the marriage. In Islam, the marriage of minor who has attained puberty is considered valid. These are all the current marriage laws in the various religions. This is not under the constitution. This is under the various religions I am talking here about. The Special Marriage Act 1954 and the Prohibition of Child Marriage Act 2006 also prescribe 18 and 21 years as the minimum age of consent for the marriage for both women and men in respectively. Under this act, these acts are important. The Special Marriage Act 1954 and Prohibition of Child Marriage Act 2006. And now, why there is a need to increase the minimum age of marriage for the girls? This we need to know. Now we are talking. The cabinet clears this says that increase the age from 18 to 21 for the girls. So why this is important? Why it is there to increase the minimum age of the marriage for the girls? Why? Now we will study that. Under the marriage of a woman increases the vulnerability because it reflects the low status of the woman in the society. So this is very beneficial for writing mains. If some questions comes on the GS paper 1 social issues, if some of the question comes, it will be very beneficial for writing the answer. And moreover, it leads to a number of problems that a woman might have to face in her life due to early marriage. What are those? Those include the education first, because women have societal pressure to get married early and have children. This is what following in many rural areas and some urban areas in the country too. But another thing, the domestic responsibilities often take over the lives of the women. Taking care of the home, taking care of the children, taking care of the household. And they are unable to pursue the higher education because of the early marriage. They are unable to pursue the higher education. And economic independence. Early marriage of women deprives them from proper education, surely, and job prospects, and thus economic independence. And it is important for women to have economic independence as it allows her to make conscious choices about her life, taking her own needs into account. So here by these things, she can't take her own choices. So this is the need of the nation now. It promotes gender equality by ensuring equal participation in all the spheres of life. Exactly. And limiting economic independence for women pushes them into a cycle of poverty because of this child marriages and many things. This is there. Both positives and negatives are there. And limits educational opportunities for her children as well. Definitely. And health issues. What are the health issues under this? Study shows that women who get married before 18 years of the age are likely to deal with unwanted pregnancies and are a greater risk of having complications during her pregnancy, such as premature babies are happening these days, and retarded growth, prolonged labor, and also miscarriage. These are the things happening. These are the health issues which were happening because of getting married before 18 years of age. And they are also vulnerable to sexually transmitted diseases as they are unable to ensure safer sex practices. This is also one of the concern. And because they lack proper education, they are married at a young age. This deprives them from the proper health care and the antenatal care, which is why the rate of infant mortality is higher in younger mothers. So this is why we are seeing the infant mortality is higher in the younger mothers. And domestic violence, this is the important term. Domestic violence, getting married early increases the risk of domestic violence because this is not I am not saying this. According to the International Council of Research on Women, ICRW, women who are less educated and married between 15 to 19 years of age are more likely to be the victims of domestic violence compared to more educated women. This is true. This is happening in the country. A possible explanation for this could be that this exists an imbalance of power between the couples consisting of younger women and older men. And mental health is also an issue. Early marriages have significant impact on the mental health of the women. They are likely to suffer from the post-traumatic stress disorder, depressions, everything are happening to the institution of marriage and the accompanying responsibilities can have an overwhelming impact on the mental health of a underage woman. And one more factor, one more concern here is poverty, because girls belonging to poor families are more likely to get married at an early age. Because of the poverty, they are getting married at the early age, and it may be because of her family cannot afford her expenses, because they are under the poverty, because they are getting married. Why? Because the family cannot afford their expenses such as education and other basic commodities, so they prefer to get her married so that she can have a better quality of life. This is also happening in the country. This is also one of the concern too. And however, women who get married at an early age are likely to spend their lives in poverty. Not property, it's poverty. They lack economic independence and their prospects of gaining reduce drastically after their marriage. So girls, we need a multi-pronged approach here to end this child marriage. So what will happen because of that? The girls must be able to attend school regularly, remain there and achieve what they want to achieve, and states can leverage their network to residential schools, girls hostel and public transport, especially in underserved areas, to ensure that teenage girls do not get pushed out of education. This is happening to provide these kind of amenities to them, so we can improve. The girls must able to, they can attend the school well, and girls clubs should be systematically formed in high school to provide informal social networks for group study, solidarity and resilience. This also need to be developed in the country, and teachers should hold regular gender equality conversation with high school girls and boys to shape progressive attitudes that will sustain into adulthood. So the awareness, the gender equality conversation from the teachers to the students is needed, and other drivers of school change must play a fundamental role too here. And the expansion of secondary education, access to safe and affordable public transport, which is one of the issue is happening some of the corners of the country, and support for young women to apply their education to earn a livelihood. So this expansion of education goes beyond the access, and children's in the village assemblies, that is the Gram Panchayats across India, can provide a platform for children to voice their concerns. So Gram Panchayats can help them for the children to voice their concern. What are the concerns they are facing? What are the concerns they have? So Gram Panchayats also drives as a major driving tool. And finally, and major important of all that is this decentralizing birth and marriage registration to Gram Panchayat will protect women and girls with essential age and marriage documents. And as India is making progress, there is a need for parity in the legal age of marriage of men and women, which can further be a step towards equality. This is one thing which is an improvement here. The decision of the central government is commendable here, because however there must be a stricter enforcement of the laws. The child marriage will get reduced, and what will happen, the equality increases, and the health of the mental health, the health issues will be reduced, and the education and the livelihood properties like these things will go high. These are all the positive steps. So this is why the government like the step which is decision which is taken by the central government is commendable here. And in the concluding factor, we say that after the post independence, an amendment was made under the act in 1978, increasing the age of marriage to 18 years for women and 21 for men. And the first law which was regulating the minimum age for the marriage was the Sarda Act. This is important in history, you will study in the modern history. So this is important. They can ask this act in the prelims too, or if there is a thing, or child marriage restraint enacted in 1929, which was a dead letter that was implemented to protect the sentiments of various communities. So increasing this legal age for marriage is a must, even legally, as it should get out of the stereotype mindset of the women are more mature than men of the same age and therefore can be allowed to marry sooner. So we know that the women are more matured than men because of the same age the woman is more mature as compared to the men. So therefore we can be allowed to marry them sooner is a step. So this is what the step which was taken by the cabinet. Here we need to keep in mind the important acts and what it is saying and what is the minimum age in other in religions. This is beneficial for mains answer writing, and some of the terms which I have told you in this topic are important for prelims too. If you have any doubts and queries, just tell us in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you.